Play-to-earn gaming, or NFT gaming, was a massive thing a year and a half or maybe even 2 years ago, but it's since died out. But is it actually dead, or is there still some fuel in the tank and the ability for you to play these games and enjoy them? I'm diving over to one of the most popular play-to-earn gaming websites right now and looking at some of the best games that they have to offer. So let's dive into the top 10 best play-to-earn games that are still alive today. I want to start out today's list with Spider Tanks. This is a PvP tank brawling game that allows players to customize their tank from a wide variety of parts in the garage and then battle it out in an Octane 3v3 mayhem. Here you can own the tank parts in your garage or hop into a pilot program and you can even play for free, which is actually a cool mechanic side of many of these play-to-earn games. You don't have to engage in the NFT portion of the game to actually play the game, but you're able to, and those things could gain value over time. Whether you believe in that model or not, you still have a really fun PvP tank battler inside of this one with graphics that look quite nice if you ask me. There's many games on this list today that are much more than just NFT games, and maybe you'll find some love inside. Next on the list we have Ovium. This was one of my favorite play-to-earn games from the past. It was one that I thought had a ton of potential. Inside of this one, you were on a different planet, exploring the world and hunting for different alluvials. Alluvials you would then upgrade, and you would take them into battle in turn-based strategy style battles like the ones you're seeing on the screen right now. This is probably one of the best looking play-to-earn games, with maybe some of the most development having gone into the game itself. Like many play-to-earn games in the space, it kind of slowed down its development, not based on the actually being created, but more on it actually being pushed out to the community because of some of the recent things in the crypto space. With that being said, this game still is an awesome looking open world adventure / turn-based strategy game that I think has legs and could turn into something pretty big in the future. It definitely does look like a fun experience and one that I'll be looking into in the future. It's one that you could also play right now as well if you want to dive into, and does still have those NFT elements if you are a believer. Next up is Common Ground World, which is a game where you're essentially being a farmer, taking it back to the olden days, and you're in a simulation farming style game that a lot of people like. Farmville and other games of that nature. They have 600 million people who have played town and farming games, but how many want to actually dive into one that's focused around NFT gaming? Here, you get to farm, you get to actually sell everything that you get from your farm, and as you know, NFT gaming, some of these things can hold some real world value. It's definitely a cute style game that's definitely also not something too intense, but you have to be into this type of thing to have interest. Now, taking a look at something super simple and basic, we have Dragon Strike, which is a puzzle-style RPG game that is themed to the dragons, but essentially is another one of those crystal puzzlers type games. Very simple in the NFT space, obviously things you can collect and earn from, but this one's okay. Now here's one that's a bit more exciting. It's called Eternal Paradox, and what we're looking at here is a turn-based strategy style game. Now, I like these types of games. I think they're a lot of fun, but it follows the basic 4X mechanics. You're going to explore, exploit, expand, and exterminate. One of the major differences is the addition of RPG turn-based combat inside of this game. Essentially, it is the blending of two worlds that make this one unique. Both create your fortress and then take it into turn-based strategy combat. Next on the list, we have one of my favorites, which is called Superior. This is a co-op, roguelike, third-person shooter where all the superheroes have turned into evil abominations. Every session you'll start out unpowered and outgunned as you hunt down evil superheroes, steal their powers, and take on even tougher challenges as you go. You can gain levels to permanently upgrade your character with a branching skill tree that'll give you the edge in future attempts. You're going to explore sprawling, hyper-stylized superhero universe through multiple biomes and dynamically configured missions. You're going to hunt superheroes, steal their powers, and essentially save the world. A couple of things that I really like about this one are, one, the artwork style. I think it's something very different, very much out of a comic book, which we don't see that often in the gaming space, especially in the NFT gaming space, as well as the gameplay itself. I love the whole third-person element to it. This one gives me a little bit of a Borderlands feel. It's like a top-down third-person Borderlands. I think it's pretty cool. It's one that I would definitely be interested in. Legends Reborn is a card-style battler available as well. It looks pretty cool and pretty basic. Next we have Mandis, which is a game with quite a bit more depth. Inside of this fantasy RPG, you'll be playing in a massive world that's ruled by 5-player monarchs. In the game, you have absolute freedom of choice. You can set out into the wilderness alone and try your fortunes against the monsters from the deep woods and dungeons. You join with one of the monarchs to serve as a knight in their court, or set up shop in one of 5 great cities of the realm. Player ownership of in-game assets is a central mechanic, with players being able to hold land, which is essentially in the form of deeds, which allow them to claim parts of the wilderness and set up holdfasts ranging from small farms to massive cities. In this game, you decide who you're going to be and choose your own quest in an epic fight against evil. So as you can see, a land ownership look inside of this title. The gameplay looks pretty cool. Reminds me of many of those builder type open world construction games. But this one has some battles involved. Looks decent. And if you're looking for more of a space-themed game, we have Battlestar Galactica Eternity. It's basically a 4X MMO strategy game that takes place after the fall. Players find themselves scattered through the galaxy following the attack of the Scions, with the goal of retaking their home system as surviving members of the 12 colonies. Here you'll be rebuilding your resources, reuniting with your faction, and reclaiming the 12 colonies. Essentially, it's a space-themed MMO. Here we have The Walking Dead Empires, which is obviously built within the whole Walking Dead realm. This is a survival game where you're going to have to survive the harsh reality by doing whatever it takes. And that harsh reality is both players and zombies. You're going to scavenge for supplies and construct your new home. Team up with allies, compete against maniac foes, and always beware of the dead. If you're a fan of The Walking Dead, this could be one that you're definitely interested in. Survival games are always fun, and this one brings that cartoon look that a lot of people like a comic book. And Fortitude is a PvP tower defense game set in a dark fantasy world where players compete against one another to both invade and to defend villages. As you build and grow your village, you must craft and strategically place a variety of defensive structures like cannon towers, hour of towers, and powerful magic buildings, all designed to protect from your invasion. While defending your village, you may also train soldiers and heroes to form an army and invade other villages to plunder precious resources. The loot obtained in these invasions will create the foundation of your own village's expansion and development. Make sure that you're well fortified for this intense and action-packed strategy adventure. And lastly, I want to share with you Heroes of Mavia. This is a Clash of Clans style game, very similar, very nice looking game that does what Clash of Clans does, but adds that NFT element to the game, that ownership element that the game has. I know that there's a lot of plans for there to be a lot of competitive elements to this game, which could be very fun in the esports scene. So let me know, do you think that NFT gaming is still alive, or do you think it's dead and done?